Preventive maintenance is at the heart of Mapcon and is an essential function for any organization. PMs are great proactive measures that enhance overall productivity and efficiency, as well as greatly reduce reactionary emergency maintenance. In this tutorial, we will learn how to browse, create, and edit PM descriptions within Mapcon. The greatest benefit of planned preventive maintenance is a reduction in downtime and reactive maintenance costs. The preventive maintenance process, or PM process, associates a standard preventive maintenance procedure or task with an entity, such as an equipment item, location, or cost center. Each PM is associated with a frequency based on time, meter readings, and/or gauge readings. A PM work order is generated every time a set amount of time has passed or the associated meter or gauge meets a certain incremental reading. This specific kind of work order will contain information regarding the PM procedure, a due date, and associated entities. As an example, a PM process of changing the oil can be assigned to a specific service vehicle and set to be triggered every 3 months. Thus, every 3 months, Mapcon will automatically generate a PM work order assigning this task to an appropriate worker to keep the vehicle in working condition. Now that we know the function of PMs, let's look at how to browse and create PM procedures and PM work orders. To begin, start at the main menu, click the Maintenance menu, and then select the Preventive Maintenance menu. Here, we see all the available PM options and functions, including PM cycles, PM descriptions, and generating PM work orders. Let's begin by selecting PM description. Here, we see a lookup of all existing PM descriptions currently in the system. This lookup displays the PM procedure number, the description title, the approval status, the work order type, and the PM pending revision status. If users are looking to edit any of these existing PM descriptions, double-clicking them will bring up additional information to view or edit. To create a new PM description, click New Record along the top, or just hit Enter on the keyboard while on the lookup screen if nothing else is selected. When entering information on a PM description, begin by adding a title for the PM description in the red field at the top. Next, use the red drop-down to determine if the work order status will be initiated, planned, or scheduled. Then, add a type in the next drop-down, and then add a priority. This box can be checked or left unchecked to determine if users wish to allow duplicate work orders. Users can check the Generate Work Orders on the basis of the Date Last Done box to ensure that the PM will generate in the designated interval, but the start date is based off of when the PM was most recently completed. Users can also choose to print certification labels by checking this box. Advanced number of days can be entered in this field. This will ensure that the PM generates the entered amount of days prior to being due. For users with the Advanced Maintenance module, checklists can be assigned here by double-clicking the blue field and choosing the desired checklist from the pop-up list. If users want to create a new checklist for the PM, they can click this button and select the Add/Edit checklists from the options presented. To learn more about checklists, please refer to our checklist tutorial series. In the Task field, users can enter in details of the PM task that need to be performed. Users can also set the work order user status in the drop-down here. The number of times the PM has been revised will appear here in this box, and users can enter in a date to next have the PM description reviewed in this blue box here. Depending on your organization security settings, you may see a clickable Approval button at the bottom. If applicable, the PM must be approved by a user with the proper security clearance for the system. In that case, the PM will not generate until it has been marked as approved. Again, approval process will vary depending on your organization's security settings. In the Equipment, Locations, Cost Centers, Routes tab, the user can assign this PM to appropriate assets, cost centers, and routes. To do this, first make a selection from the first blue drop-down to determine the type of entity needed. Then, double-click the red field to bring up the appropriate lookup. Make the necessary selection and repeat this process for as many items as needed. PM frequency can be determined here. A PM description may be active, but a PM will not generate unless the information telling the PM when and how often to generate is entered. Please refer to our tutorial on setting PM frequencies for step-by-step information on this process. On the Labor tab, job steps of the PM can be assigned to available workers according to the selected crew, craft, and shift. Users can also dispatch work orders generated from this PM to employees in this section. To learn more about dispatching PMs, be sure to look at our tutorial on dispatching PM work orders. The Materials/Tools tab allows users to include items necessary to completing the tasks. Users can determine which site the PM can be generated in on the Sites tab. Double-click the red field to choose specific sites, or simply check the Make this PM procedure available for all sites box. For those with the Advanced Administration module, an Attachments tab will be available to add necessary attachments to the PM description. These attachments will be included on any work orders generated from this PM description. If any revisions have been made to the PM, a Revisions tab will show a list of all revisions made to the PM description over time. Once all necessary information is added or edited, click Save Record at the top. For these tips and more, check out Mapcon on social media. Thank you for choosing Mapcon.